Jody from FoodStorageMadeEasy.net. Today is day 7 of our 7-day challenge, and the task today is to make bread the hard way, which means no electric wheat grinder, no Bosch, no KitchenAid, no ovens. I was pretty proud of myself when I started making homemade bread, but I was kind of cheating, at least in terms of emergency situations. So this is my first time actually experimenting with doing things the hard way. I'm using just a cheap hand grinder. We usually recommend the Wonder Junior Deluxes, but Julie and I share one, and she happened to magically have it on this day of the challenge. I don't know how that worked out, but I'll have to ask her about it. So I'm using this one, which is my emergency grinder. I'm going to time it and see how long everything takes to grind. We're going to be getting 6 cups of flour for the bread recipe we're doing. So we're going to grind it first. And then I do have a sun oven, but I found earlier in this challenge, the day I was trying to cook with it, it was cloudy and rainy and stormy outside and I couldn't use it. So today I'm going to try to work on a backup plan, because I have used the sun oven to cook bread before and it's delicious. But I'm going to try cooking in this cardboard box oven that I have made but have not had the chance to use yet. So we're going to pull out charcoal and try to cook in there and see how that turns out. And luckily my husband's home today, so he's going to help me with the grinding part, because that's what men are for, right? Okay, so let's get started.
Okay, so here's the hand grinder that we had in our food storage. It just clamps onto the edge of a surface, either a table or a counter, so we've got it clamped on here. And really all you have to do is take the wheat kernel and put it right into the hopper on the top. So we've got a cup, which should make about 1.25 cups of flour, according to Jody. And we'll just take that and we'll pour it in here. Then you want to make sure that you've got some kind of a bowl or something to catch all the flour with, because it's going to come out here in kind of a mess. And then you just start turning the handle. Usually they have a thing that allows you to set it, either fine, any setting from coarse to fine. I've got it on the finest setting since we're trying to make like pretty good flour here. And that's basically all you do, is you just crank the handle just like that and you'll get flour.
Yay. Okay, my husband just did 1 cup of kernels in 3 minutes and 45 seconds. And now he was going as fast as he could, and he's strong, so I'm going to only test 1/4 cup for me and then make him do the rest. But I just want to show you how it works a little bit. So I'm pouring in my 1/4 cup, and then so you can see it coming out, and you'll notice that, well, you probably can't see the texture, but this isn't quite as fine as I get with my electric mill or even with the Wonder Junior Deluxe. It just kind of depends on the quality of the grinder, and this will work okay for flour, or for bread dough, but if you're looking for a really, really fine, kind of more texture like all-purpose flour, this is not going to do that for you, but hopefully it'll still work for our bread. So now I'm going to time myself. So I am going to do 1 loaf in the sun oven and 1 loaf in the cardboard box oven to kind of test the differences. So I'm just letting the sun oven preheat for now. That's going to be we're going to put the bread in there first, because it doesn't really need to rise before we put it in the sun oven, because it will continue to rise as soon as I put it in. So I don't want it to raise too much, or it'll just raise and explode. Okay, so my time experiment on hand grinding wasn't that bad. It would be about 5 minutes per cup for me, maybe a little bit more, which is a lot if you're making a huge batch of bread. But anyway, so now I'm on to the hand kneading, and this dough feels extra sticky to me. I don't know if that's because my flour was not as fine as usual, or if it's always been this sticky and I never knew because my Bosch was just mixing it. So we're hoping for the best, and I'm going to knead it for about 10 minutes and then let it rise and see how that goes. And kind of brings back memories of making cinnamon buns and scones with my grandma. She'd always let me punch the dough down. That's what I remember about making homemade dough with her. But I don't remember her dough being this sticky. I hope it's not going to be a failure. Okay, my oven got to about, I can't really see it, about just over 300. I stuck in my bread. I did not raise it at all before, and I'm just kind of going to experiment. I think last time I did it, I rose it partially first, but we'll see if this works. And then right over here, I've got, can't really see it all that well, but we're starting some charcoal lighting for our apple box oven that we're going to try to cook the other loaf in. So the charcoal that I had has been rained on, so I wasn't sure if it would light. So I used a little pack of fire starter and set it down here, then put 10 briquettes in one of those charcoal chimneys, and it actually worked, so they're ready to go. So what I'm going to do is lay them out on this piece of tin foil, and then I'm going to put that grill on top of these cans and bake the bread on that inside the cardboard box oven. And each charcoal makes 35 degrees of temperature. So those 10 briquettes will hopefully make my oven be at 350. Okay, so here's my hot coals. I'm going to shake them out in there. I'll admit I'm a little bit scared of charcoal, so this is adventurous for me. Those are hot. Okay, now stick this on top. Stick my bread on top. It's kind of warm. And then the cardboard box oven goes on top of that. And it should cook as long as this bread would.
Sorry.
As long as this bread
Our
would
baby was about
cook
to run past everything.
in an oven. So it should cook about 20 to 30 minutes. So hopefully we'll come back and check and see if it works out good. Okay, I just took that cardboard off of here. It's cooked for about 30 minutes and it looks like normal baked bread. I'm kind of excited. I'm not sure if it's done all the way in the middle. I always think it, figuring that out. So hopefully it is. And here is the sun oven bread. It's cooked for about an hour because, as you recall, I didn't raise it first. So it's been in there for about an hour. Hi, little chickens. Coming to see the bread? I feel like the little red hen today. So, and the sun oven bread doesn't dry out if it cooks longer, so I'm fine leaving it in a little longer. I think I probably would have preferred to raise it a little bit before I put it in the oven because it didn't get quite as high as I would have liked, but I think both of them worked, so we'll cut into them and test them and check them out. Okay, so both loaves are done, and this is the cardboard box oven one, and it is just looks like a perfect loaf to me. It's really light and fluffy. The only thing is the bottom looks a little bit crunchier than it turns out in the sun oven. And I wonder if I use taller cans, if maybe it would be a little further away from the charcoal, and that might help. But it doesn't, I mean, it's not burnt, it's not too brown, just a little crustier than maybe I'd like. The sun oven one is perfectly soft, and it's not too brown or anything, but it is a little denser. It's not as light and fluffy as normal, and I think that's because I didn't raise it at all in the oven. So in the future, I'll raise it maybe for about 15 minutes, just raise it a little bit, and then put it in the oven, because I think my oven was pretty hot today, so it just started cooking rather than letting it raise too much. So there you go, bread from start to finish, the hard way. Hopefully that was fun for ya. Come over to foodstoragemadeeasy.net and check out all the other great stuff that we do with food storage and powerless cooking on.